Welcome, everybody. Race 5 of the ABN AMRO Box Cup Series season rolls through the heartland of ABN itself. Our home track, our home turf. Welcome to the Bluegrass State. Welcome to the ABN Pride 200. I'm Carmen Ciano. Alongside me, as always, Kevin Young on a wonderful Wednesday afternoon here in the Midwest. Activity beginning to pick up here at this 1.5 mile oval. Kevin, this is a track that you know very well. You have the track record here in the Champ Car machines, but these cars are a little more unwieldy tonight. What are they looking at across this intermediate?
I could say right now it's looking like, at the most part, slightly a one-groove, two-groove track, but you're going to have to be careful when getting the power off, like, say, they all 0.15 mile ovals. You're going to have to be careful getting the power off on exit, because cars can be a bit squirrely and be a little bit unreally, like you said. So there's a situation of just knowing how to throw it in, plant it, and get it to come off the corner without losing it off exit, as a few cars have already had problems off 2 and 4, just keeping this thing pointed in the right direction. And the driver that can keep the car unwheelie, like keep it loose but fast, is in prime position to win this race.
Over 20 drivers present already, with qualifying on the horizon here, as everything gets set and ready to go here in Kentucky. Emily Howe, less than 10 laps completed so far, and already top of the board, with Nick Pressey sitting in the second position and Rudy Valentine sitting in third at the moment, ahead of Josh Gaiman and one of the hometown drivers, Bradley Wright, sitting in the top 5.
It's one of those things that, well, first of all, spoilers for last race. 2 weeks ago, if you did not get a chance to catch up, you can read the letter on the ABN website or check the race replay. But regardless, if you weren't here for last week at Auto Club, it was an Emily Howe-like show, as she's currently leading the table here, and she was able to win last week's race with a strong performance coming on a late pit stop to come back and win that race. So Emily Howe trying to keep her winning ways going, become the first driver in this Cup Series to go win 3 races so far this season. Right now, she's 2/3 of the way there.
Several drivers on track at the moment. There'll be 23 from the looks of it by the time we start qualifying. 20 drivers have set times. That of Christina Ryan, James Gutta, and Lilac Zier have not yet set a time so far in this session. Christina Ryan actually joining the track right now. There's the number 80, carrying over some remnants of the times we saw from Las Vegas and Auto Club 2 weeks ago.
Yep, she is running a bit of a, like you said, a little remnants of that scheme. And you can see some drivers, obviously, some are running new paint schemes. Rudy Valentine out there, still running the same 78 that they ran at Auto Club 2 weeks ago. So some drivers taking this new opportunity to run some new liveries. Other drivers running the same good old-fashioned schemes they've ran and hoping that that scheme provides them luck, or maybe the new paint and the new digs may give them the confidence to challenge for a win.
Emily Howe currently top of the board. Valentine moved out of second. Leapfrog Pressey for that spot here in the last 90 seconds of practice. Christina Ryan setting her first lap on the board now. Goes 18th fastest. Valentine, obviously in traffic, not going to be as quick. At 30.9 on the board for him compared to the 30.5 that he set at the top of the session. So we'll see multiple drivers here finishing their laps right in the nick of time. And Zier is about to set a lap time. Good old installation lap for the 89.
Yep, Zier, one of the, obviously coming in a little bit later in comparison to some other drivers that have been here since the session has opened. It's not much practice time, but for some, they don't need the practice time. They either did it throughout the week, or sometimes they just feel confident stepping in this car on any given week and feel like, I don't need the practice, I can go out there and be a strong contender week in and week out. And we'll see if Lilac Zier, Christina Ryan, John Hagan, just name a few drivers that have done too many laps so far in this practice session, will be drivers that can definitely go out there. Their drivers definitely go out to contend week in, week out, but can they put the pieces right here at Kentucky as practice has just concluded here, and we're going to get ready for some qualifying.
Get ready for that transition over to qualifying here. 23 cars present for tonight's race. As time has begun. We'll catch the first car that we can as they roll off the track. It looks like it's going to be that of Bryce Saucier.
Looks like you are correct. Actually, I think Saucier by a fingernail over Emily Howe.
It's going to roll quicker because Saucier reset.
Correct. So it is going to be Emily Howe going to attempt the first lap here in that number 83. Other drivers making their way onto the track right now. Pelletier Sharp, Selena Thompson, Nicholas Pressey, and Bryce Saucier again. So not a major rush to the door, but at least 5, 6, 7 cars currently out there as soon as the flag drops for qualifying to start and want to be the torchbearers. They want to be the trendsetters. They want to set the pace that the other cars are going to have to catch. So here comes Emily Howe in that E83 Flying Machine 83, ready to start a flying run here.
Laps beginning for most of the field here as we get underway. Thompson, Valentine, Howell, Estes, Feimster, Saucier, Sharp, Wright, and Downton all on track at the moment.
First lap, I'm not feeling confident. She kind of had a little problem off, too. You can see her go very low down the backstretch there, almost like she was trying to break toe. Obviously, she'll run top of the table at the moment, and actually, I think she may have slightly kept the wall because that lap did not count.
Yeah.
So it's all or nothing on this second lap for the said 83 car. Looking a lot smoother here. She's got to try to beat a 31.02 or even try to break into the high 30s to have a chance at pole position.
Riley Wright, 30.6, has upped the ante here. Second lap for Emily Howell. Tires warmed up. Provisional pole, but not by much.
Yep. Wright's going to have a rebuttal here. He's on his second run as we speak.
Is he going to have a chance to improve on that second lap?
In the Ron Hornaday inspired machine, coming off the last corner here.
Valentine goes faster. Provisional pole for Valentine. Does Riley Wright have enough to go for pole? No, he does not.
No improvement.
Pressey goes second fastest. A lot of cars rolling now. Valentine, Pressey, provisional front row. Emily Howe will not be on the front row. Christina Ryan rolling off track now. Several cars on track about to set their first time laps. Ryan, Thompson, Gutta, Hagan. Keep an eye on that board on the left side of your screen.
Pressey's second lap not fast enough. He'll stay P2. Other drivers, Game and Zier, just finished their second runs, and neither driver also improved enough to really get any higher up the field.
Looks like the first lap's the magical lap for most.
Emily Howe's really one of the only drivers that had a second lap faster than the first, and that was because the first lap wasn't in validation, so nowhere to go but up. And look how close Ryan's getting close to that wall, flirting with danger, getting on the power as early as she dares. She's got 2 more corners here, but right now it's trending in the right direction.
Elbow hooking up 3 and 4, keeping it planted. Don't let it wash out. Down the track, below the yellow line. That's legal here. Is it enough for provisional pole? No, 8th place. Only 8th place. Quickly 9th place with Hagan. Moving up to 8th.
She's going to have to buck the trend here and be a faster second lap. She wants it. Oh, again. Maybe scrubbed off a bit too much speed there.
We'll see what this lap gets. Not getting down to the yellow line. 3 and 4 like she wanted. Very much fighting it. Gonna fight it in a round. She'll go. Gonna save it and lock it down, but that lap's done.
Yep, no chance of improvement. She was trying to get as much as she could out of the car, and sometimes you have to be on the limit, and there she went just a bit over, but at least it's a learning experience for the race. We'll cut to Alfred George now, and that number 22 Pennzoil machine. This is going to be the start of his fly lap. This is his first lap here.
Yeah.
Only car on track at the moment, putting down competitive times, as Kelly Height is just coming out of the pit lane as we speak.
Yeah.
And Alfred George struggling off too. We've seen that happen with a handful of drivers. We've seen it with Howe. We've seen it with Ryan. Handful of drivers have really struggled getting the power off too, and have reaped a bit of a mistake. So Alfred George may have scrubbed off a bit of speed here. We're going to see what he can do to cross the line, but even a kind of a poor 3 and 4. I don't like where this is trending. Cross the line, P18. It's going to have to find a lot of time on the second lap.
Well, there's a lot of time to find. The easy part is that it's easy to find if you just show up those 2 problem areas, and that's what he's going to struggle with still. Drifted up the track in 1 and 2 and got loose out of it.
As Alfred George comes across the line for the second lap, will he improve? He will, but will not go any higher than 18th.
Kelly Hite goes 11th fastest. Zach McBride finishing his first lap here. His best result in the Champ Car World Series came at this very track last year.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he qualify? 15th.
Going down below the yellow line. Like you said, legal, but bumpy. Very bumpy. Transition right at the apex of the start-finish line there.
Yeah, he's going to get wildly loose, and that's going to be qualifying run over.
Mm-hmm.
Rubio Acosta.
Looking at my time and scoring screen, one of only the few drivers left that have not done 2 laps. The others being Blake Henderson and Alfred Denny.
They're about to roll now here. Henderson just moved to the pit lane. Denny's still waiting. Acosta about to start her first lap. Spent a decent amount of time practicing throughout the week leading up to this. Acosta gets a little loose there at 4 on the first lap, coming to take the green flag for her qualifying run. Henderson will be up close behind. But Acosta knows what the measuring stick is. Tags the wall. This first lap will not be it.
Mm-hmm. She's going to have to go the Emily Howe route, and she's going to need to take second run here and have that second run be good enough. It worked for Emily Howe. She got top 3, so if you mess up the first lap, it's not game over. But the road becomes infinitely harder.
And that wasn't a light tap. You saw the damage that appeared on that right front. Fighting it even more, fighting it more and more, but keeps it planted enough. Through 3 and 4 for Acosta. This lap will count. Henderson went 20th fastest on his first lap. Acosta will go 13th fastest on her second lap. Denny's the last one that'll set times. We're leaving pit lane now, just in time.
Yep, 2 minutes left on the clock. That's good enough for 2 laps easily. Henderson about to finish his second lap as his teammate, his friend, you could say, is about to cross the line himself. And Blake Henderson, does he go any farther? No, he doesn't. Actually, he does. P10 for him, just inside the top 10.
Yeah.
So Alfred Denny knows the challenge he needs as he comes to start lap number 1. If he wants pole position, it's going to have to be a 30.54. If he wants a top 10, it's going to have to be a 30.89. Car looks planted off a 2.
Very much so. But
Only question is,
you can't really get down to the bottom there. I'm not sure if it's going to hurt him too much or not. See how much it pushes out of 4. Looks solid. Conservative lap. Does not use the apron on the front straightaway. Goes 22nd.
Mm-hmm. Maybe wonder if he was going conservative in the one there just to put down a time and see what you can do on the second one. You can see a lot more aggressive. Still looks planned off exit, but try to get as low as he can. We'll see if he can pinch the line here. Still running that middle-ish groove. Can go a wee bit lower if he wanted to. And off exit, he's just going to shave off a little bit of speed there. And it's going to be improvement, but not a pole run. Cross the line.
Enough
P19.
to get a couple spots. Yeah, went from 22nd to 19th.
Yeah, 3 and 4 was his tricky section there. Just seemed to really struggle to find an ultimate line there. And that It's going to be the end of qualifying here, and pole position going to go to Rudy Valentine.
That's going to determine the starting grid here, with drivers meeting coming up very shortly. And we are back from driver's meeting. It is almost time to go here at Kentucky Speedway, the ABN Pride 200. First 3 races tonight here at Kentucky Speedway. Tomorrow night, it's the Pride 300 for the Champ Car World Series, the second leg of the Triple Crown for that competition tomorrow night for the Champ Car World Series, and then the Bluegrass 200 for the Twiggy iRacing Series on Friday. So a lot of racing here at Kentucky Speedway as everything gets heated up and ready to go. Cars getting on track and ready to go here. We'll talk about the starting grid here momentarily. Watching us drivers take some last-minute laps here to get sorted and situated. We'll go over everything real quick one more time, about a minute from now. Cars on track at the moment. Valentine, fastest at the moment. The pole sitter looking quick. Also has a bobble there through 3 and 4.
Yeah. The saying is, sometimes you got to drive the car loose. The loose is fast, but a lot of these drivers are really struggling without a 2 and 4 to get that power down and keep this thing back. Now, true, this car is on really at the best of times, so expecting this thing to be planted that well is kind of an understatement. But a lot of drivers are struggling, and I feel like that's going to be, especially on cold tires on the start, I feel like we're going to be in for at least a little bit of an early problem here at the very least. Maybe some light clouds rolling in here, thunder clouds, before we see some sunshine, because that's going to be a bit of a tricky spot, and they're not ready. Cold tires is going to catch someone out.
Everyone's struggling just a little bit. 23 cars set to do battle in the Bluegrass State. As we get ready to go, a look at the track information one more time. 1.5 mile D-shaped oval. This track's nestled right in between 2 major cities, Louisville, Kentucky, and Cincinnati, Ohio. It's along I-71 in a village called Sparta. This track opened in 1999 and has had historic races as part of the NASCAR Cup Series calendar. The IndyCar Series used to host races 2-3 times a year on major events up until the start of the pandemic in 2020. But now, it's all on iRacing as everything gets ready to go. It's 88 degrees, the air temp, 90 degrees the track temp. Still pretty warm. It is the middle of June. And the winds are the kicker here. Very heavy winds. 13 miles an hour is the average wind speed so far for tonight's event. It's going to be a crazy one as we get started here. Getting ready for the starting grid. Here we go. It's Rudy Valentine and Nick Pressey on the front row. Emily Howe and Bradley Wright sitting in row 2. For Emily Howe, the points leader, a chance to kind of just ease up a little bit and continue on those winning ways. 2 wins this season out of 4 races. Can she make it 3 out of 5? For Bradley Wright, one of the fastest Kentucky-born drivers in this field for their home race. Toby Estes, his teammate, and another Kentucky-born driver sits behind him in row 3. He'll start alongside Lily Paultier Sharp for GearCats in 5th position. James Gutta and John Hagan in row 4. James Gutta, last time we saw him at Fontana, podium finish for him. John Hagan looking to get a podium tonight here as well after finishing so close to a podium at Daytona at the start of the season. Row 5, Christina Ryan and Blake Henderson. Christina Ryan, the ABN World Champion from 2022, alongside Blake Henderson, who is very familiar with this track, raced in HTL here a few months ago. Selena Thompson and Callie Height sitting in row 6, positions 11 and 12 as the field begins to roll here at Kentucky. That is the first 6 rows of this 12-row field. As we look on further down, Josh Gaiman, Ruby Acosta in row 7. For Gaiman, looking to rebound and recover from a very short and abbreviated race in California 2 weeks ago. Lilac Zier and Tommy Withers. Zier, first time qualifying for one of these races. She'll start in row 8. Zach McBride and Bryce Saucier. These two battled a lot. It was a very intense battle at Kentucky in the Champ Car World Series last season. Saucier ended up crashing out in a crash with James Pierce. McBride moved on to 4th place in that race. A lot of work for both of them to do to replicate their successes from last year tonight. Alfred Denny and Ryan Pinnell sitting in row number 10. Alfred Denny kind of sitting back, same with those behind him. Ryan Pinnell had a slip up on his qualifying run. He'll start in row 10. Kevin Feemster, he'll join the debuting Stephen Downton. Downton making his first start of the season in this Cup Series. He'll start 22nd. Howard George will round out the field at the back of the order in 23rd. That is the qualifying order here as we get ready to go. Taking an extra formation lap, 23 cars ready for tonight. Starting order at the top of your screen as we get ready to go.
I will say, while we have this little extra formation lap, I know personally, in your opinion, Carmen, Kentucky, obviously, ABN's home, and you love this track to death. So maybe in a few words, why do you love this track so much?
It's a challenging track. It's, you look at how lambastic Texas has been, right? Because Texas had a similar reprofiling. Kentucky went a different approach. Kentucky's always been a flatter intermediate track. It's never been the high banks that you see at, Kansas or Vegas or Charlotte. It's always been flatter, and they gave it a different characteristic change by making the flatter side turns 3 and 4. By widening that sector of the track, it allows us to see a lot of drag race finishes to the checkered flag, and that's sort of become Kentucky's MO. And especially, obviously, in the Champ Car machineries that we'll see tomorrow night, it's a completely different challenge compared to that of Texas. Because with Texas, it just seems so much more jarring. It's a lot more subtle. It seems more natural here at Kentucky. A track that's always had a little bit more play in how you race the track. And those challenges are going to be amplified as this race goes from sunset into night and the track gets colder. These drivers will be hunting for grip all race long. And that's where we're going to start off here tonight. The ABN Pride 200 is underway. We're racing at Kentucky. And you'll see immediately drivers will begin sorting and finding different lines. Every line here across both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, both sides of the track, are open for business.
Mm-hmm. Put a big old for sale sign on it. If you're brave enough to put it where you want to put it, you'll have the chance. You can see Henderson very high in that wall, but I think that may have been more of a slight odd line choice, I could say. Maybe even slightly a mistake going in the 3. But lap 1 in the books, and it's going to be Valentine with the credit for lap 1 lead. Getting a little bit racy, a little bit further down. But right now, at least for the first cars, it's all single file riding.
Valentine holding onto the race lead. Emily Howells easily dispatched Nick Pressey for second spot. She qualified in 3rd. Remember that. Not very often we see her get bested in qualifying. But Valentine right now proving to be a little elusive on this opening start.
Yeah, you can see a battle there. Yeah, you can see a few battles forming up right in front of Christina Ryan. You see the battle of Sharp and Gouda fighting hard there as Sharp is going to get around James Gouda, who had a good run going on last week. And even you can see even a little bit further back there, the 2 wide, 2 abreast. That is Henderson and Selena Thompson.
And Acosta.
Ruby Acosta. Yeah, and Selena Thompson and Joshua Gaiman.
Yeah.
Took a second there to look at time and scoring as it did flip for a second. And they're racing pretty hard here, just on the outskirts of the top 10.
Almost 3 wide.
Yeah. And 3 wide was Zier almost taken. It was Saucier and Tommy Withers.
Oh, McBride's there in that range as well. Withers up a spot. Saucier up 4. Thompson down 2. Henderson down 2.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people are where they started this race. As we look down through the order here, we'll scroll back up because it is a close battle for the front of the field. Front five cars, nose to tail.
Emily Howe and Toby Estes. We saw him fighting last week. Estes used strategy to get up in that fight. And right now, though, he's shown he does have the pace. And they're getting the party crashed there by the 94 Pressy, who is not allowed to cut, is not going to go roll over and die. Kind of has a bit of a rep around here, at least from what I've seen, is he gets strong qualifying performances, but usually kind of has some fall off. But he's trying to buck the trend here, and he's staying up with this lead pack and not allowing the second groove to try to catch up here at the moment.
Yeah, the big thing here is that how well can he hold on to those tires, because tire was going to be at a premium here. This is a flatter intermediate track, as I mentioned, and that means an increased tire load, as that was Toby Estes.
Yep, and that sent Valentine thermal from the wall. Rudy Valentine's gone from bad to worse, as that is a big lick on the inside wall, and that's 2 cars heading to the scrump yard as Pinnell almost hits the outside wall trying to avoid it. Just a wall tap trying to make a move, and took 2 cars battling for the race lead out of contention.
And you see the damage on both those cars. It doesn't take much to see the amount of damage on Valentine's car, and Estes not better off for it. We'll take a look at what happened in this battle as they came out of turn 2.
Because I'm going to see, you could see him hit the wall right there, and I saw that, and I was like, okay, maybe just a light wall tap. Next thing you know, he starts going down, and Valentine, who just got passed not too long ago for the race lead, was like, okay, that may not have been too bad, and the next thing you know, he's in the inside wall, and that's basically car destroyed.
Yeah,
taking a look here.
Not a great run there. Obviously, Valentine's going to be disappointed because obviously Polsitter had a really good opportunity to do something about the domination from Emily Howe. And you see Toby Estes. Valentine gave him plenty of space. Estes just got loose getting off the wall there. And I see a little bit of netcode there between Valentine and Ryan Pinnell.
Oh, just a back live action. Estes and Valentine both coming in right now, along with a few other drivers. But yeah, it's just kind of stinks. Take one more look from Estes. You can see he just comes up the racing surface, just a little tap off 2, and then just at that point, it would have been okay. But once Valentine hit the wall, it sent back an Estes, and then basically sent both ping-ponging.
So Valentine, Polsitter, had begun to drop back. Briley Wright had initiated the challenge for the race lead, had gotten past Emily Howe, had gotten past Valentine to take the race lead, and Valentine was just sort of thrown off of the favored line. And obviously Toby Estes, you see it as the tires wore and the tire pressures built up there, the tire heat. It's still a hot track. This is still a very warm track compared to what we would normally see on sunset and night conditions. It is the middle of, it's the beginning of summer, the summer solstice, and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter from here. We have Sonoma next week, and that is going to be a blistering heat. The first road course of the season, and drivers getting a taste of what that heat's going to feel like here going through tonight. Again, 88 degrees the air temp, 90 degrees the track temp, and there's not going to be a lot of sensible relief until about 40-50 laps into the run here when the track time actually begins to fully settle down here. So there's going to be a struggle for a lot of drivers as we get ready to go.
Should be worth noting that
will lead us to the green flag. Pressy in second, Emily Howe in third. So second and third where they qualified. However, everyone else around them definitely not where they qualified this race.
No, some cars were just going backwards the wrong way. Others trying to find their footing. Should be worth noting all cars are still racing at the moment, as Estes and Valentine both were able to come back out onto the racing surface. Estes stayed on the lead lap. Ruby Valentine lost 1 lap, but with no fast pairs in the series.
Valentine is on the lead lap still. Just barely.
Oh yeah, because pit lane. So yep, both are still on the lead lap. Good call there.
So all 23 cars on the lead lap as we get ready for our first restart of the night here on lap 9, coming to lap 10 of the ABN Pride 200, the 10th of 134 laps coming up. Race 5 of 16 The regular season's already a third of the way over, and drivers need to now start thinking of how they can get to the top 12 in points. A win would definitely help out in that scenario for a lot of drivers. The field getting ready to come to the green flag. Waiting for the green flag to show. There it is.
Oh,
and away
Sharp
we
did not
go.
get going. Did not get going at all. She's gonna get swallowed up here. But 3 wide move for the front.
Oh, that's very close. Hal tried to go for that move on Bradley Wright. Wright shut the door, but Wright also was right to that corner and will hold on to the race lead. Emily Hal trying to get to the front of the field quickly.
And Saucier got a little, not Saucier, sorry, Pressy got a little loose off of 2 there, and it's going to allow Howe on the inside. And Christian Ryan could follow suit here, make a choo-choo train of sorts if Pressy cannot get a good corner here. But luckily, again, with Kentucky having multiple grooves, as long as he kind of can find a groove he's comfortable in, he should be relatively okay keeping the car planted.
They come down the back straightaway. Here we go. Hal's going to clear Pressy here. Christina Ryan going to try to do the same. Got really close. Hal got loose out of 4. From the top to the bottom of the racetrack and back to the top again. Pressy on the pressing once again.
Christina Ryan betting her money on the racehorse she thinks will take the position. She thinks it's going to be the 83.
And it will be. Christina Ryan's on the charge, trying to get to the inside of Emily Howe. Will do so. Going through 3 and 4.
Good news for Pressy right now. He can come down if he needs to. He's got a little bit of a gap there between him and James Gutta. If he so chooses, if that's the line he wants to run, Howe will clear back for second here. Because he getting a little spaced out in the back there. Blake Henderson and Selena Thompson, Ruby Costa, I should say, in the 40, fighting hard there for 10th position as Henderson's going to get the spot. But right now, it's smooth sailing up front for the number 29, Bradley Wright.
Yeah, he's hoping it kind of stays that way. 7/10 gap for Bradley Wright as Emily Howe has a absolute miracle of Christina Ryan and Nick Pressy.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're running the car ahead here and you're trying to chase it down, the one thing you don't want is someone being a little bit pokey on your rear side, on your corner panels, because it kind of could throw off your line. And obviously, third place car and fourth place car, obviously if Ryan and Pressy both think, I can get up front, I can catch Bradley Wright, why shouldn't I be leading the train? So there's always some kind of situation where there's the driver's instinct. Sometimes it's best to wait behind, but in other situations, you want to poke and try to get the opportunity if you think you're faster before the tires fall off, or in turn, you may lose spots. So it's different drivers have different IMs, and we do see a good perspective here from the side rear view mirror on the side camera here, as we see just how close that train is following, and you can just see almost like a bit of a horror movie as you can just see that little Pennzoil machine pop up and just slowly come on the inside of the corner to take a peek and then drift back in when she realizes that there's no real opportunity to make a pass at the moment.
Everyone's sorting into rhythm just a little bit. Starting lap 16 of 134. Again, it's a long race. These laps will start ticking away here as everyone gets sorted here. Josh Gaiman going after Pelletier Sharp. That is the battle for 7th place. Everyone gravitating towards the bottom at the moment, but we do believe that you will see drivers begin to gravitate further and further up, kind of like what you're seeing right now already. A lot of drivers did not come down pit lane on that first caution. Didn't feel the need to, so you'll see them run a little bit as Henderson tags the wall just a smidge, entering turns 1 and 2. Stays in the 9th position, but does not want to fall victim to Ruby Acosta or John Hagan.
Oh, Feemster got a little loose there too. Again, that second corner, like just the X's have caught these drivers out a little bit. We saw it during qualifying, we saw it during practice. We're seeing it a bit during the race at the moment.
Actually, we're right on board with him because you can kind of see how different 1 and 2 are. Going through the corner here. 1 and 2 is the heavier banked part of the track. So it unloads a little bit harsher than it does in 3 and 4. 3 and 4 a little bit looser as he tags the wall trying to enter 3 and 4.
Yeah. trying to stay as high, turn as late as you can, get the deepest speed you can to the corner. He was trying to do that, but at the end, he just got a little too greedy with the wall there. But luckily, light tap, no real damage, no real harm, no real foul, other than the time lost to the position ahead. Oh, sharp around, it's multiple cars. Henderson, Gaiman, Acosta, and there's the 63. And I'm going to guess, I think Sharp may have lost it on her own, possibly. But we'll have to wait and see on replay on that, but they just got a little loose. Mm-hmm. So we'll take a look again. She's fighting Selena Thompson here in the 60. No, Kaylee Height.
Yeah,
Kaylee Height.
Yeah. Oh no. Lily just kind of hooked Callie just a little bit and then paid the worst price of it.
Mm-hmm. Gave Callie a little bump, and then Gaiman gave her a bump. And it's just a little chain reaction there with riding so close. We'll slow it down here, and you can just see from the top-down blimp camera, you can just see just a bit of a checkup by that 66. And you can see a hole kind of open. I think she may have been trying to go for it, and then just a little tap. It checks Sharp up in the Gaiman, who then gets Sharp spun around because of it, and then that chain reaction affects Henderson right there. Ruby Acosta nowhere to go. Ends up piling in the back of Henderson. Yep, Henderson just luckily went just low enough, and then you're going to see the 63. Again, the hole was open, closed, and ends up getting sent the wrong way around. And
there's why like they're getting some for her efforts there. And McBride.
Zach McBride. Actually, I think he may have avoided McBride. Look, just close enough. Rest of the cars file through. And that will be our second caution of the night. Just few separate instances lead to a big one. That's usually what you see in racing. We'll take one more look at it here.
I'll go with Ruby Acosta.
Just nowhere to go.
Yeah, you see her powering up, trying to save it.
Mm-hmm. Like, she's a little bit more back. Like, she was just a little farther back. She probably could have made it through, but at that point, in that speed, she was just hoping that they would move or a hole would open up, and that never dissipated. And turn. That's going to be at least a little bit of damage, but in the grand scheme of the cars that got damage, she got off lightly. As Joshua Gaiman, that damage was terminal for the 61 as his right night is done.
Second week in a row, his night ends very, very early.
Rudy Valentine also basically fighting damage, just basically pulled behind the wall as well. So yeah. 2 cars out of this race, and we got a hand more still trying to fix up damage here to try to beat the pace car here. The 40 will make it out, Ruby Acosta. The 2 will beat the pace car. The 25 as well, Blake Henderson. But the door is closed, and Sharp and Zier cannot get out before the pace car comes around. So that damage is a lot more severe for both cars.
So Emily Howell will be at the front of the field. Everyone took pit stop that time around, lap 20. Mm-hmm. So it's Howell, Wright, Ryan, and Gutta top 4. Cressy and Height, row 3. Feimster and Hagen, row 4. McBride and Saucier, row 5. Is how they will all line up here to go.
Should be noting this fast stop that Emily Howe's pit crew had was able to get her a good time. Same with Christina Ryan as well, 14.37, while Bradley Wright had a 15.3.
Fastest time on the board is actually John Hagen, 14.15.
Mm-hmm.
With that 52 crew for Jacob Shingle Racing.
Yep. Other nobles as well, 14.22 for Zach McBride, and a few others in the high mid 40s. But yeah, some fast stops there.
And back from the second caution of the night. Everyone doubling up here as we get ready to go. We'll cross our finish line here. The lights will go out on the pace car. Which means we are one lap away from seeing the green flag once again.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time this race, it'll be Emily Howell leading the way.
Yep. I mean, you could say in this top four easily, a lot of these drivers have been up front battling. Briley Wright, pole sitter at Daytona. Emily Howes won 2 races. Christina Ryan fighting constantly for podiums. James Gutta, same thing. Even a little bit further back, Presley and Height, both kind of strong drivers as well. So got a lot of, even though some early contenders have been taken out by accidents, you still have some very strong drivers straggle through this top 10 and top 15 that can easily put up a fight if they can get the charge right here.
You see the damage on Ruby Acosta's car. Acosta dropping to the back of the field. Just trying to gather some points. Acosta was looking really good in the points up until the night. And now it's about scavenging and doing the best that she can do with a very damaged Pontiac at the back of the field. 18 cars on the lead lap, 21 cars still running. The only cars out of this race, Valentine and Gaiman.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling through the tri-oval, green flag in the air. Away we go once again here at Kentucky. Very clean jump.
Yep. A little bit of wheel spin for a few drivers in the back, but nothing major to report. Everyone gets through relatively okay, but 66 hits the wall, and she's going to run the Hagen. They keep it straight. It almost looked like shades of what happened with Estes and the 78 of Valentine, but luckily, no car hits the inside wall. And we stay green, but right there, Saucier taps the wall hard in that Kellogg's machine. Cars will try to scramble around him while he's a little bit under the speed right now.
Everyone pushing very hard. Pelletier sharpened the wall.
Should be worth noting. I think the reason Saucier hit the wall there is because of a possible full screen the desktop situation. Caught him off guard. All up front, though. Battle for thirds rages on. Gutta just got almost chop blocked by the 29.
Estes trying to get a run, trying to get back to that second spot. Sorry, not Estes, that's Briley Wright trying to get a run to that second spot.
Mm-hmm. Christina was able to get around the 29, and now Gutta and Presley want to try to follow suit here, but Wright trying to stop the bleeding here. We'll get a good run here. Now Gutta's going to fight with Presley for 4th position, so it's going to give the 29 a bit of a chance to breathe here and challenge Christina Ryan.
Height around in front of Feimster.
And that will be our 3rd caution.
Once again, Kelly Height involved in that one, and this time not lucky.
Nope. So I have to take a look at that. Obviously, we were focused on the main battle, so we're not 100% what happened, but from your perspective, Height may have lost in front of Feimster. So we'll take a look at the replay here. You guys see a battle between Hagen, Feimster, and Kelly Height here.
I think you see Kelly Height get on the... Yeah, Kelly Height just drifts up really tight. Right in front of Feimster. Feimster had nowhere to go there.
Yeah.
And obviously Kelly Height, who already had a little bit of trouble from the first incident, the same exact corner just a few laps ago, finds it once again.
Yeah, it's one of those odd situations because if Feimster isn't there, Height goes up, hits the wall on her own, and we stay green. But with Feimster, similar to like the previous caution, someone's riding close. Obviously, you're going to ride close in a racing race and just nowhere to go, and that caused caution. We'll see it from Feimster's perspective here. You get to see checks up, hits the seam, and Feimster was already settled for that line. Didn't expect to slow up, and there's your caution.
Yeah, Feimster pulls down here, and he's going to end up towing because his car's. You see how wounded his car is in that melee.
He'll try to get it fixed, but with no fast repairs, it's going to be a long one. And actually, he's pulled behind the wall, so his race done for him, that 21.
Callahan's got a lot of repairs to make up for. So, quick third caution of the night. As has been the trend these first few races, there is a flurry and a cluster of cautions to start off the race. Then everyone finds their rhythm. Then we enter a long green flag run. And we're hoping if it's anything like Vegas or Fontana or even Indianapolis that we're going to see something like that tonight.
Should be worth noting that with that quick caution there, Peltier Sharp does get back on the lead lap. So at the moment, that will give us 18 cars on the lead lap. But with Height having a lot of damage, I don't think she'll beat the count here. Probably will go one down. Saucier as well with that wall tap we saw when he had that desktop thing. Also fixing damage. We'll see if either driver can get out before the pace car comes around 3 and 4.
This is a very interesting sort of, I guess, the dissection, because this is the first race that E83 Flying Machines has not supplied the setups for the race. It's been a conversation, it's been a talking point all season. E83 Flying Machines setups, obviously a completely different take from what we're seeing tonight, which is the more traditional, just the regular iRacing sets. E83 Flying Machine sets, they take out the skew from the car. Instead of these cars driving more like the traditional Twisted Sister Gen 4s, they drive a little bit more square, a little bit more even. And so these setups are definitely driving with a lot more skew in them. See if drivers are struggling with that. Emily Howe has been up front just about every race this season. Up front right now still, same as usual. Christina Ryan sitting in second. Bradley Wright sitting in third. Nick Pressey in fourth. Gutta in fifth. Hagan in sixth. McBride in seventh. Then it's Denny, Withers, and Ryan Pinnell in the top 10. See the light still on the pace car, which means we have at least one more lap of caution as Peltier Sharp drops to the back as the free pass position. She'll start at the tail end of the longest line. But a little bit interesting sort of dissection there. Just different setups being used tonight compared to what we've seen the first 4 races of the season.
And I know it was a conversation, we heard about it throughout the server during the off week and during the build up to this race as well. And we're seeing at least a little bit of a test the waters moment, as you would say.
As far as trends go, they're about the same. 3 cautions in the first 30 laps. We'll see if it evens out here like what it did at Fontana in Vegas 3 weeks ago.
Meanwhile, looking at the strategies here to see if anyone's off Sweekens, the whole top 14 at the moment, all on the same Sweekens, pitting under the second caution, as no one in the top 14 did pit under the third caution. Only cars coming in, besides the ones involved with damage and incidences, were, looking at my calendar here, Alfred George was the only one that came in besides Height, Sharp, and a few others that pitted for damage repairs on that regard. So most of the field on at least 10 laps old tires here, as they'll gear up here for another restart.
$18 cars still on the lead lap. 3 cars out of this race. 2 cars a lap down, Zier and Acosta. Two Charlotte natives on the front of at the front of the field. It's Emily Howe and Christina Ryan, with Bradley Wright and Nick Pressey in row 2, James Gutta and John Hagan in row number 3. It's almost time to go back to racing here. Pace car will pull into pit lane. And it's the crawl towards the green flag here. Emily Howe and Christina Ryan lead us to green. We're back underway for the 3rd time tonight. Christina slots in line right behind Emily Howe. Bradley Wright sits firmly in third. Everyone fans out a little bit out of turn 2. Cold tires still for those, especially on fresh tires. Those are older tires, they'll heat up a lot quicker. Christina Ryan looks to the inside of Emily Howe. Trying to go for the race lead here in Kentucky. Right now, currently has it. Bradley Wright will look to try to make it 3 wide before picking the inside lane. Ryan leads that lap.
Ryan being an ultimate opportunist here, found an opportunity through. Christina did. And now she's leading to the point here. But it's easy to take to the front.
Bradley Wright.
Yep, that took a second to hold my breath.
Bradley Wright pushing. Christina Ryan went through to the race lead. Bradley Wright said, I think I'll have that position. And then immediately almost gave it up. Still might give it up. Pushing really hard for 3 and 4. Side by side in 2 rows. As it's a battle for 4th as well.
Yeah, Hagen and Presti fighting hard
falling
there.
Backwards here.
Alfred Denny there also. Nate, we haven't said much.
Very much haven't said that a lot, yeah. And there's Zach McBride. Keep an eye on him. He's very fond of this track.
Heck, you look at this top 10 right now. You got Zach McBride, Ryan Pinnell, and Tommy Withers. Obviously, probably just gave the jinx to a lot of them, but at the very least, they're running well at the moment. As we got a battle here, as McBride's going to try to lead this lap, and it's going to be Ryan by a nose there for the lead of lap 34, heading to 35.
Yeah, Bradley Wright trying to take the lead away, trying to use that outside lane for momentum. It's a lot easier to do outside of 3 and 4 than it is in 1 and 2. They're going to be level out of the pack straight away. Selena Thompson's around.
Yep, Selena Thompson's around. Caution is called.
Someone clipped Selena Thompson. Not sure who, but Thompson got clipped by somebody and sent airborne.
I'm going to guess Henderson was behind when I saw the track map. So it may have been Henderson. It could have been Toby Estes.
We'll see what happened
Take a
here.
look here.
Yeah, it looks like it's a solo spin for Selena Thompson, the rookie from Huntsville, Alabama, just on her own. And it is Henderson.
Henderson was just playing the corner. You can see all the cars trying to avoid there. The stationary 63.
So make that a 4th caution on the trot. And it's Bradley Wright that got the position from Christina Ryan, so he will get to the front of the field. Ahead of Christina Ryan. Now under our 4th caution of the night, a 2-car accident between Selena Thompson and Blake Henderson, who's going to have to come in for repairs. That car definitely not 100% now.
Nope.
You see the damage on that left front. For the 25, you'll see him come in here. He won at Daytona. And he's kind of been carrying that result through the last couple races. It's not been an easy go for him. And tonight's not going to be any exception. Only positive out of it is that it looks like it's very fixable, the front side of that car.
Yeah. Gonna have to get the tape out, try to tape it, whatnot. See if you can try to make that car competitive. Because how many cars are having trouble here? If you can at the very least get that car competitive, or even not competitive, just driving straight,
yeah,
you could be able to still get some good points here with, at the very least, top 20 currently out or with trouble. You're at the very least looking at the top 20, and if you can kind of hang on, you can even get maybe a top 15 with the way things are going.
Keeping an eye on it right now, the top 5 in this field have not yet pit. Ryan, Howe, Gutta, Denny, and Downton in the top 5. So everyone's staying on the championship leaders strategy at the moment for those top 5. Everyone else just came in on lap 36. Minus that of Lilacs here, who got the free pass. That's now, I believe, but still 18 cars on the lead lap of LTA Sharp off the lead lap right now. Bradley Wright came down pit lane, so it gives Christina Ryan the lead right back. So she will lead us to green flag here for the 4th restart of the night. Very interesting how all this is playing out so far. We expected it to be a little bit more timid, a little bit more mild, with us not using the E83 fly machine sets. The 83 Flying Machine set's typically a little bit looser here. But drivers struggling particularly hard right now. Lights still on the pace car, which means we have at least one more lap of caution here.
Mm-hmm.
Drivers coming in for more service. Zier, Height, Henderson, Saucier, Acosta. And then obviously Sharp still in pit lane.
Yep.
Multiple laps down.
Because Sharp had it was unreported, but on the opening restart, Sharp had a little spin, and Saucier got a little collision with her ending up around off in one, and Saucier getting some damage as well. So that's why Saucier's back down pit lane trying to get things fixed up here. So, well, with the chaos lap one, that opening lap though, we just on the last restart, things can sometimes get a little bit under the rug. But regardless, we're gonna get one more lap of pacing here. Different strategies worked though, as we saw last week. Emily Howe went off sequence at Auto Club, and it worked out for her. She was able to get, actually, her and a few others, Caitlin Height as well. It worked out great for both of them, as they're able to go off sequence and put themselves in a different strategy book that allowed them to gain track position, and they ended up making it work greatly with a win and a top 5 for both cars. So with lights on the pace car, we'll be going on lap 40 for our 4th restart of the night. Or technically 5th, because regardless, we're going back to live action.
Coming to the green flag is Christina Ryan, Emily Howe, James Gutta, Alfred Denny, Bradley Wright, and Stephen Doughton, the top 6. As we get ready to go once again here at Kentucky. Away we go. Green flag back in the air. Lap 40 underway.
Not a good start from Alfred Denny there. Big gap there with the inside line with this 86 of Gutta timing it right. And it kind of checked up that whole outside line and in turn inside line, but that's going to stop Emily Howe there. Going to get an opportunity here to challenge for the lead. Presley gets a little loose going up the corner, but he'll keep it straight. Emily Howe will take the lead here, and now James Gutta is going to try to challenge for second. Emily Howe leads lap 40, coming on to 41.
Keep an eye on those that took some fresh tires. 16-lap difference on tires now between those that took the start of the field at the front and those that are trying to get through now. Keep an eye. Right gets turned.
That was one of them with fresh tires.
And it was John Hagan that turned him.
And we stayed green, which is going to even be more of a salt in the wounds, and that car is not going to be feeling good. Not going to be feeling good at all. Almost feels like an episode of Game of Thrones right now. Anytime you feel like there's a contender out there, they end up getting their head cut off. And right now, it's Howe and Ryan and Gutta fighting with the freshest driver. The freshest on tires is currently Pressy, who's in 5th position.
Yeah, John Hagan completely just kind of ran him over there. Bradley Wright enters pit lane.
With such a tire difference, kind of odd. He went for the aggressive charge strategy there, knowing they were on different strategies, but...
Well, they were on the same strategy. They both spent a lap 36.
Oh, yeah, they did. My mistake.
Hagan just ran him over. And now it's back on Toby S.'s shoulder, who's not on a 100% car, as he gets around Selena Thompson there for 11th place. He is trying to scavenge some positions here. Bradley Wright. Last time we saw them here at Kentucky, it was a fundraiser event, and they finished 1-2 in that race. They're not going to get that tonight, but Toby S is going to try to make something out of nothing here.
Yeah, like I said, with a lot of cars struggling with, I wouldn't say struggling with issues, but kind of getting in problems that maybe someone else causes or in their own problems, it's become a point. If you can kind of just run around, you can make it happen. We'll take a look at Blake Henderson. He had his incidents as well. He's currently just knocking outside the top 15. Or Toby Estes, opening lap incident. He's currently knocking on the door of a top 10 with a slightly wounded car. So if you kind of could just survive right now and allow the competition to kind of have their own issues, you can rebound quite nicely, try to get back up, maybe get a good finish to help you out to get some good points before the chase starts.
Single file for those in the top 10 now. As Estes gets around Downton, Saucier gets around Thompson. That's a battle for 12th place, with Zier trying to follow suit. It's just outside the top 10. Toby Estes, one of the hometown drivers from Greensboro, Kentucky. Sitting right now inside the top 10, just barely 10th place. Trying to chase down that of Tommy Withers and Ryan Pinnell. A lot of ARCS contingency drivers in this top 10 now.
Just saw it there for a flash, making a move on Alfred Denny. I think he may have got the move to stick. He did.
Yeah, keep an eye on that 47 of Zach McBride. Finished 4th here in the Champ Car race last year. He's going to try to replicate that result tomorrow, but he's also looking to do the same thing here tonight. And so far, trending in the right direction, up to 11 spots from where he started. Only drivers that have gotten more, Denny, Pinnell, and Downton, all up 12 spots from where they started this race.
You can see another battle right there between John Hagan and Nicholas Presley. A lot of green in that top 10. The only car in that top 10 that's lost positions from where they started is Toby Estes coming in the pit lane here.
No, he spun.
Yeah, spin. So he towed. And he just disconnected, so that is race done for him.
Oh no, he pulled down on his own because he used the warm-up lane. It's race over for him.
Yep.
And Bradley Wright as well.
Yeah, both cars now out.
Front of the field, it's still Emily Howe, Christina Ryan, James Gutta, and John Hagan, with Nick Pressey sitting on the edge of the top 5.
But to kind of finish my point there, like I was trying to say, look at the top 10. They all have net gains from where they qualified. The only driver that is not... Yeah, Presley down 3 from where he qualified. And he's had a strong run. You can't hate it. It's still down 3 from 3rd position, which is still great. But when everyone else is making gains and you kind of look in the mirror and you see those negatives, it can be a bit of an influence. We'll have to hold that thought. It's Christina Ryan under attack here from Hagan. That tire advantage is showing its girth here as Hagan is going to make a move around Ryan here on the high side and try to get the stick.
Fresher tires going to prevail here just a little bit. James Gutta on the same old tire
94.
age. Yeah, Pressey going to try to move through here. Yeah, Pressey going to be a little more aggressive here, and it's not going to pay off for him.
Smart back down there. The hole was closing. Don't need to get your nose chopped off.
So Hagan going to try to chase down Emily Howe, the championship leader. Still going to try to go 3 wide. That's Nick Pressey.
Oh.
It didn't work out at Fontana, and that was a way wider track than Kentucky is.
Again, shades of what happened to Hagan, shades of what happened to 36 of Bradley Wright. A few other cars have had those instances as well. Ooh, Zach Wright almost gets chops block Pinnell, and he even on the mic, hey, apologies.
Yeah, McBride a little bit flustered there. It was 3 wide and high, wide, and handsome for the 47 of Zach McBride, as he now sits in 6th. Christina Ryan's down to the 5th position, as John Hagan's closed the gap to the championship leader right now, trying to make the most of those fresh Goodyear tires. As we roll through to start lap 53 of 134, we've entered that frame of drivers beginning to find their ebb and flow down in pit lane.
09 of Saucier. No, Stephen Downtown, my mistake.
Yep, Downton in pit lane. Saucier still out. So the 07 and the 09, 2 different cars there. Saucier stays out. Saucier put on lap 37, so he's good for a few laps still.
Yep.
Hagan hassling Howe at the front of the field. Pressey's gotten to third place. I had a gut ahead of Ryan. Hagan looks to the outside of 1 and 2, trying to build up a run, really to attack in 3 and 4. And you see how loose he gets being on that outside lane. Howe's going to defend the outside through 3 and 4 and force a different run of position for Hagan. Hagan's going to try to switch to the underneath side. Caution's out.
Yep, and that is going to be for the 47 McBride.
Yeah, McBride in trouble here. And he is in the outside wall.
Makes me wonder maybe it was Ryan Pennell, because they were in the hornet's nest with Christina Ryan. When I checked back there a minute ago, it was Ryan, McBride, and Pennell. It may have been single spin. I don't hear anything that makes me think it was double.
He sends it in on Christina Ryan here. Oh, he just drifts up in front of Christina Ryan there. Nothing Christina can do. She's giving him space. He just drifts up. Largely a softer impact there. Not a terrible amount of damage for either car, but enough to send that 47 around. And that's going to really hurt Stephen Downton, who had come in a little bit early, having stayed out.
No, he came in for damage repairs. He's still in the pit lane right now. So that is a non-strategy call there. That was a meatball situation. Oh, big checkup there is how had to get on the brakes. And everyone trying to get what they can get. Obviously, everyone coming in. And this has kind of helped the cars that pitted under the previous caution, because they used those fresh tires, got track position, and now they can kind of use it to try to keep that position, or even if they get a fast pit stop here, maybe even take the lead. So it's going to be on the virtual pit crews here, decide who gets it and who gets out ahead.
Acosta, I believe, gets the free pass position here.
Thompson. Interesting strategy choice there. She's going to come out first.
She didn't take her pit stop. She missed her box.
Oh. So she'll be coming out again. Regardless, Emily Howe is going to be coming out first. John Hagan, Presley, Gutta, Ryan, Pennell. Christina Ryan, Ryan Pennell. Can't use last names when the person behind has the same name as that. But regardless.
Withers, Denny, and Zier, and then Acosta with the lucky dog will drop to the back of the field. So Elridge George will inherit a top 10 position on this restart. You see the damage on the 63. Yeah, there was not the intent of staying out and just breezing through pit lane on that one.
Yeah, very weird. Yeah, because she overshot her box and then didn't try to back it up because she was still relatively okay. Oh, no, I think she overshot it by a mile. So, yeah, there's no backing that up. So,
but she's staying out now.
Yeah. She did last pit on 36, so she's okay. But I think she said she's going to pit this time. She wanted to lead a lap.
It may as well. As soon as that car is, may as well turn a bad situation to a good one.
Get the sponsors of Maritime, make everyone happy. Wave to the fans. I mean, I did it once at Pocono.
For those tuning in, spending your Wednesday evening with us here on ABN, you're not going to go anywhere. Tomorrow night, it's the ABN Champ Car World Series from right here, the second leg of the Triple Crown. Both me and Kevin Young will be racing in that event tomorrow night. And then Friday night, the Twiggy iRacing Series here, once again in Kentucky, the ABN Bluegrass 220. That's Friday night. We go live 8:45 p.m. for racing there. And then Saturday evening, it's the OAP Super Sports Series. We go live at 9:45 for that. And then the RX A Square Cup Series on Sunday. Action-packed 5 days beginning tonight. Selena Thompson's going to come down pit lane here. Going to give the lead off to Emily Howe. John Hagan will restart this race in second place. Then it's Pressey, Gutta, Ryan, Pennell, Withers, Denny, Zier, and George in the top 10. Selena Thompson comes in and relinquishes the race lead. It's been a very brutal race at Kentucky Speedway. The HTL Cup Series race here was one of the best of the season for that competition. It's been a bit of a bloodbath here tonight.
I will say, at the very least, we know for a fact, because I know you, Carmen, this race is going to be on the 2024 calendar somewhere. Don't know where, don't know
it's
when.
on every calendar, yeah.
Yeah, but at the very least, these drivers better learn it, because it'll be back here next year.
They're getting their money's worth. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Over these next 2 years, they're getting their money's worth here. Emily Howe and John Hagen, they went tooth and nail at it on that last run. Can Hagen do it again now that he's on the same tire wear as Emily Howe? Everyone's going to have to deal with more tire temperature issues. The track is slowly getting colder. We'll pull up the weather dashboard here as we get ready to go green here. Track temp's gone down by only 1 degree, but it's going to begin to severely fall off a cliff here as we get ready to go. 15 cars on the lead lap. Acosta still getting damage repairs. She may go a lap down in this. Kelly Height still running. Stephen Down still running. 17 cars taking the restart here on lap 59. Away we go once again. Pushing at breakneck pace. Emily Howe on the inside lane.
Ooh, Presley just getting a little loose.
Everyone getting a little loose. Cold tires and trying to push as hard as you can. 110% on this restart. Can cause some problems. Still might cause some problems as they go through 3 and 4. Christina Ryan looking at the very lowest part of the track. That number 80 machine. Keep an eye on the yellow and white car.
Yeah, that little bob out of 2. Presley could not find his form yet. He's going to get swallowed up here a little bit. James Gutt was able to get around. Now Christina Ryan going to try to poke and prod to get around, but Presley going to hold his nerve on that low side. Oh, Ryan's 2-3 times.
Whoa,
Hagen saves it as
keep an eye on
well.
Hagen.
Yes. Ryan had to fight it twice. Hagen had a bigger one, a bigger tank slapper, but both cars save it.
Very talented drivers at the front of the field. It gives Jim Gutta a second place run right now. Obviously, a lot of laps left in this race. We are not to the halfway point yet.
Nope.
Ryan and Pressy side by side. Ryan Pinnell right behind, looking for a phenomenal finish for him if he can hold on to this right now. Obviously, a lot of distance still, over 100 miles left in this race. Then there's Alfred Denny and Lilac Zier.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ryan Pinnell has an Alfred Denny right in his mirrors right now. This little 4-car train forming up here.
Single file first 7 cars. Zier and McBride battling for it through 1 and 2. Then there's the 23 of Tommy Withers.
Oh, McBride got a little loose. It's going to allow Zier an opportunity to get a run, but just a little bit too far back.
Anderson a little bit further back, still a little bit wounded there. That number 25 machine. Ahead is Lena Thompson and Elris George. Ruby Acosta and Callie Height sitting 15th and 16th. Height, the first car one lap down, I should say, at the moment.
Right now, she's kind of hoping for a quick caution. Same thing with Ruby Acosta, because if that happens and Height's up is not involved, Height gets her lap back. Ruby Acosta gets to stay on the lead lap as she's currently across the start-finish line now. But if the 40 of Acosta gets swallowed up by this pack, then it's game on for the Lucky Dog.
And the teammates as well for Queen's Design. Going to be a very interesting situation there as that unfolds and develops. And Lehal still leading this race, trying to pull away from James Gutta, who's got a mirror full of Hagen and Pressy. Pressy trying to fight for that 3rd spot, looking for his first podium, really, of the year in ABN competition. Hagen going to try to challenge Gutta. Had a really good run out of turn 4. And he's going to look to the outside again through 1 and 2. And he's going to really try to blaze on by. Gutta's going to say, hold on a second. And they're going to be side by side out of 2. Hagen taps the wall just a smidge, but they stay level. Going through 3 and 4. Hagen's going to get clear, but how long can he stay clear? Has got it now on the receiving end of the attacks for his position. He'll drop down to third. Pressy will look for to take that from him and drop him to fourth.
Mm-hmm. Gonna try to hang it high here, rip it around the high groove. Well,
It's gonna
middle
work right
of the
now.
high groove. Yeah.
Christina Ryan, once again, very loose right in front of Ryan Pinnell. Now getting an absolute eyeful of the rear end of Ryan's number 80. Toyota at the front, then a Chevrolet, Ford. Then another Toyota in fifth, and then another Ford in sixth. This is how things run at the moment. Got it, drops to fourth.
Ooh, McBride in the wall.
Just a little bit. Luckily, enough space between him and Zier that he's not going to be severely under threat or immediately have to get on the defense.
Yeah.
But showing how much of a handful this car is right now. We've passed the halfway point here at Kentucky. Top 5 at the moment as it stands is Emily Howell, John Hagen, Nick Pressy, James Gutta, and Christina Ryan. We've passed the halfway point. So we're going to step aside for a second, and we're going to crank it up. Green flag running still underway. You're watching this battle between Nick Pressey, Ryan Pennell, and Alfred Denny for the fringe of the top 5. Denny trying to get around Ryan Pennell as tires beginning to reach their lifetime here.
And listening to some radio comms while we're having that extra long Kentucky special, crank it up. You can hear a lot of radio chatter going on, at least if you're listening to, well, not the stream, but listening through my own headset here. And it's worth noting that drivers are complaining about car being way too tight. A lot of these cars are way too tight at the moment, and passing is becoming a bit of a chore. So we got to keep that in mind. With fresh tires, you could be a little bit more on the attack, but we're seeing the real tightness really affect these machineries. And if you want to make a pass, you got to chip away at it slowly or hope the car ahead makes a mistake. And here comes Alfred Denny right now. He's going to get a run here, but can he try to get around the SED 94 machine? And you can just see he's going to get on the inside. He's going to try to ride the corner panel just to get a toe off to set himself up. And you can just see he loses the run because of the tightness and has to jump back in line. So the elements and the cooler track are beginning to kind of take its toll here. But right now, it's still the Emily Howe show up front. She's been the torchbearer by about 1.7 seconds over James Gutta. Hagan's under pressure here for third for Christina Ryan, but a gap is beginning to form as Alfred Denny's still trying to chip away at that 94.
Battle for the top 5 still ongoing for Alfred Denny, trying to get something going here. We mentioned the difference between the setups, not the 83 Fly Machine setups that we've been used to the first 4 weeks of the season. This is a traditional iRacing set. The E83 Fly Machine sets, they got looser as the run went on. They started off really neutral, and they just got a little bit looser. They got lower, they leaned a little more in the right rear tire. These cars, as they wear, it leans on the right front, which takes a lot of the grip and the handling out of the cars. It is very much a tire-saving sort of strategy right now, and you're seeing that right now at the front of the field. Emily Howe, right now in the element that she can just absolutely dominate and pull away on level footing. No one can touch her right now. As Hagan and Pressey come in, so does Tommy Withers. It's a 2.1 second gap so far in this race with Howe.
Yes, it is. Right now, they're going for the undercut here, which feels like maybe the last-ditch effort here, but with a tire-saving track, the downside of the undercut obviously is if a caution were to come out right now, you'd be in a bad situation, being a lap down possibly, as Emily Howe's coming off a 4 right now to put said vehicles a lap down. But the other downside is everything plays out. You'll get the track position, but we saw it last week at Auto Club. We'll probably see it again tonight, is that you'll be a sitting duck for the car that got the tire advantage now that pitted later and could be hunted down.
Gutta came down pit lane that time. The only car in the top 5 that time around that did come down pit lane. So pit stops, green flag pit stops the first time tonight. Very much in the window here for the first time tonight. Christina Ryan's going to pull down into pit lane. Very smooth pit entry there for Christina Ryan. Emily Howe's going to stay out. So will Denny and Ryan Pennell.
And it's something else kind of worth noting as well. We saw it last week at Auto Club. Some drivers, conservative coming in. Emily Howe is not one of those drivers that is conservative entering a pit lane. That's how she made up her time last week. In turn, getting a little bit closer and being able to be just a bit close enough to challenge the top 2 at the end. She was aggressive coming in. You can see it right now. She's coming in.
Just the difference between her and Zier.
She's trying to find as much time as she can, and that will help her out in the long run. The only downside is you're playing with fire, and if you end up going over the line by a hair, you're going to end up getting held for at least 45 seconds. Ryan Pennell going to stay out that one extra lap here.
Takes the race lead.
Good run so far for that 12. Tries to lead a lap here and probably come on in the short term sooner rather than later.
Pennell, Thompson, George, Henderson staying out here. But it's a matter of time before they come down pit lane. George should definitely stay out. Celine Thompson can stay out a couple laps longer here. If she so chooses. Ryan Pennell stays out once more, so he will firmly lead laps here at Kentucky. Emily Howe and Alfred Denny coming out of pit lane. Now you see them exiting pit lane as Ryan Pennell will quickly put them a lap down. However briefly it may be. There's Emily Howe going a lap down to Ryan Pennell, who comes out of turn 2. And there's James Gutta. Now that is a very pertinent part of this conversation because Gutta was 2 seconds behind.
I was going to say Hagan also gets around as well, but you're right, 2-second gap, and that just shows you the power of the undercut, as Gutta's going to be the first one to get unlap himself here, but the downside is Emily Howe got the fresh tires by a couple laps. It won't be apparent the moment. But as the run goes on, you're going to see Emily Howe chip away, and she'll be able to kind of attack when the top two cars' tires clip off here. But Ryan Pannell going to get split. And he's coming in this time by. That was probably enough excitement he needed for one race. As he's coming on in along with a 63 of Selena Thompson.
Now,
No
we're
call.
requesting permission for a flyby.
I've been in those situations. It's not fun when you got two cars fighting and you're the sandwich with the meat.
Height comes in, so will Selena Thompson.
Alfred George, I think, is going to stay out here one more. Yeah, so he will inherit the lead and will lead, not this lap, but if he stays on another one, he'll
does lead this
that
lap.
Oh, he got around the 12. Good for him.
Right at the nick of time, so Alfred George a lap later in the ABN Ammo Box Cup Series.
Oh, battle. What was supposedly seconds heating up here as the 83 is just going to get around. Will try to anyway, as the inside line, the line she favors. Hagan trying to keep the fight on the high side, but it's not going to be enough. Put the 83 up to second when it all cycles through. And with the 22 Alfred George coming on in this time by, it's going to be Gutta, Howe, Hagan, your top three, and Presley's going to be three back of this top three pack.
Agata takes the race lead by less than a second.
Mm-hmm. And just looking at pit road times here, Gutta was out of the top five currently. The fastest one on and off pit lane was actually James Gutta, 46 flat, while it was a 46.22 for Hagan and a 46.38 for Emily Howe. The other drivers top five, Presley with a 46.12, and Christina Ryan, the slowest, with a 46.70. But in comparison, that's still not horribly slow, but in comparison to the fast one, but that just little time loss can be effective. Put you a little bit farther behind as tenths make up seconds.
.40 laps to go here in Kentucky. It's the ABN Pride 200. Again, the first of three races this week at this track, the ABN Pride 300. One of the crown jewel races for the ABN Champ Car World Series tomorrow night. Both me and Kevin will be racing in that race. Kevin's the lap record holder here at this track.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday night, the Twinkie iRacing Series here in the Bluegrass State as well. Battle for the lead heating up. 39 laps to go at the line. It's Gutta and Howe. These two battled a lot in Fontana 2 weeks ago. But it was Gutta the challenger, Howe the defender. Roles have reversed here tonight so far, with at least one more pit stop to go. James Gutta 2 weeks ago, first podium in ABN competition. What a way to step it up by getting a race win in ABN competition for the first time in his fifth start. But he's got a powerhouse car behind. Side by side through 1 and 2. Emily Howe, 2 race wins this season, trying to make it 3. Championship leader. Main competition, Caitlin Height, not present tonight, using a drop round. Howe gets around. The question is, if Gutta uses the same strategy he used before, how quickly can Emily Howe get around at the end of this race? You got to think forward here. With less than 40 laps to go, you've got that one extra stop to make, and everyone's got to make it.
Raises the question, long ball games in question, but also Emily Howe's keeping that in mind. If Emily Howe maybe try to play to her guns, go as long as she needs to, or in turn, does she take a chance and as soon as she sees that 86 pit, come on in, or even in the reverse, if she feels like she's comfortable on her tire wear, maybe try to preemptively strike the 83. Right now, it's in the control of 83 control. 86, 83 are right now the two kind of torch setters here. 52 at Hagan, a little bit on the distant. Presley and Ryan about 5 seconds back.
Speaking of Presley and Ryan,
Oh,
There's that battle for fourth place. Christina sends it to the inside of Pressy. These two longtime adversaries in the ABN Champ Car World Series. And Christina Ryan once again getting the best of Pressy right now. The world champion moves up to fourth. Withers in sixth, Denny in seventh, and it's McBride, Saucier, and Ryan Pinnell rounding out the top 10 at the moment. Speaking of a battle here, battle for an eighth place between McBride and Saucier. So battle still over the place, all over this track.
Yeah. You can look up and down the field. You got battles forming, like you said. Withers and Denny, Ryan and Presley, Howe and Gutta. Even got Saucier and McBride. And that's just the ones for the lead lap. You even got some fights maybe possibly for the one-downers.
Battle for sixth place, Denny and Withers. Solid position where everyone's at, located on track, but this is a battle narrowing down for sixth place. Christina Ryan's already put a second on Nick Pressy. As Withers gets past for sixth place, Denny's going to go forward and try to march on towards that top five, but he's got a 5.6 second gap to shave down in this race. At the front, James Gutta still trying to hold on us to Emily Howe.
And the bigger that gap goes, the harder the undercut's going to be to pull off. Gutta needs to keep it close. If he tries to undercut, he can have a bigger cushion. That's going to be harder for Howe to chase down. But right now, James Gutta's going to have to try to navigate quickly around Henderson. Blake Henderson, the 25. But he's just not close enough to make a move here at the moment.
Battle for 14th place going on right now. This is off the lead lap, but still very important here between Lilac Sear and Callie Height.
And in the grand scheme of things, isn't a major battle per se for getting a lap back. It is valuable for all crucial points. You never know when a point or two could make the difference. His height hits the wall there. Gonna ride it a little bit. Keeps the car straight, though. Could have been a bad situation for both Ryan Pinnell, who's not in this battle at the moment. He's a lap ahead of these two. And Lilac Sear.
Callie staying ahead. That's Ryan Pinnell, who's in 10th place at the moment. Kind of fell out of that top five in that pit stop cycle. Callie Height pulling away by a little over a second now over Lilac Sear, as Sear's been unable to get around that of Ryan Pinnell. So Height sits now in 14th place, now having to chase down Elris George, the 13th place car. Up to 11th, a lap down to this car right here, Emily Howe. You saw Blake Henderson just off the screen there. Now an obstacle for James Gutta to try to maneuver here with less than 30 laps to go.
Yeah, and every lap he stays behind Blake Henderson, that's going to cause Howe to tip away slower and slower and slower, as that car is going to be a bit of an appeasion.
Everyone sort of in their own little windows at the moment. Gutta, Hagen, Ryan, top four. Christina Ryan's pulled 2.8 seconds over Nick Pressy, trying to crawl back in some of that time to John Hagen. And so far, it is being successful. Christina Ryan is faster, albeit minutely, over Hagen at the moment.
Not enough to make enough inroads at the moment to catch, but if you keep putting those laps together, Ryan could eventually try to be on contention for podium. But I think I speak for most of the field right now when a lot want to caution, try to get a re-rack here and a duel to the finish. Ryan Pinnell just got around Zach McBride for 9th.
Entering the final 25 laps here very shortly. John
Who's in
Hagen
that
comes
second?
down pit lane, right on
John
board
Hagen.
with James Gutta here. As we know pit stops are coming here shortly. We know you have to make a pit stop here. Hagen and Denny short pitting.
Oh, gut
And-
on the wall. That's got to be in now. At that point, that wall tap costs you time. If you're James Gunn, a strategist, you're telling him to come in.
He's got to keep Howell off guard here. Oh, he does not come in. He thought about it for a second. You saw him get off the throttle. 25 laps to go. Got his first podium 2 weeks ago. Finished third in that race. It's been a
Gunn-
wild run so far.
You can just see the tightness. It's affecting the plowness. Still no blink, but you can see how the car's coming in. Zach McBride.
Yeah, McBride came down pit lane that time. Zier came down pit lane trying to get an undercut on Callie Height there. Off the lead lap at the moment. A lot of cars 1 lap down as they currently stand on board with James Gutta. We know pit stop's coming for him. We know that he's going to want to come in first. Withers comes in. Saucier's in.
Unless he's playing the long game here, maybe hope Howe pits. He goes as long as he can, hope for a caution. It's an odd strategy, but considering you made your bed with the undercut, it's shocked he's not doing it again. Because the gap continues to grow up another 10th there. Howe and Gutta, it's now 3.1.
Keep an eye on it here. Gutta rolling through turns 3 and 4. When does he finally blink and come in?
I kind of get it, partially because you don't want to pit too early and then be stuck on really old tires in comparison to Emily Howe. You'll be a sitting duck. But with the time gap growing and growing, Christina Ryan in.
That was what I was about to actually bring up, because the issue isn't just so much that he's losing time to Emily Howe, who has turned on the jets in these last few laps. The issue is that he's also getting closer and closer to Christina Ryan, and we saw how much just a 2-lap difference on tires meant for James Gutta. Does he come in on this? He will come in on this.
Yeah. I think it's a little late. I don't hate the call. I'm not going to say I hate it.
That is not a response to Emily Howe. That is not anything regarding Emily. That is a cover off on Christina Ryan.
Yeah.
Because if he had let Christina Ryan go unchecked on that, Christina would snatch second away from him here.
Yep.
That would be a quick, just a pull out from under the rug for James Gutta. Emily Howe running around here. We expect that
Well,
she's going to
she's
come in
coming
here.
in.
There it is,
Yep.
another wide arcing
She's-
entry towards pit entry here in pit lane now. Pressy will follow suit, we believe.
We'll see here to stay out maybe the long game here.
He will stay out here one more lap. Thought he might come in, but he stays out.
Should be worth noting, only the top 3 have yet out the pit. Well, top 3 and Alfred George.
Yeah.
Presley last pit on 85. Pennell, Thompson, and Alfred George pitted on 91, 91, 92 respectively. So in that regard,
They've got some
they go a
time.
little bit longer. Yeah, they got some time. Try to play the long game here. Hope for a caution. We try to rank it out, but
There's
yeah,
James
Presley's got to
Gutta
come
there.
in. And Howe is just leaving her pit box right now.
It's going to be close. But right now, Gutta, I don't think, is going to have enough to really get
No.
that massive advantage.
Yep, she's
It's gonna
coming
be
out of
really
one.
close.
She's merging onto the track right now, and
Yeah,
Gutta's not
it's not
even at a
enough.
2 yet. Yeah, you'll.
Yeah, waited way too long to make that call.
Mm-hmm.
And that again,
Ryan
that
wa-
call was a response to Christina Ryan, and Christina Ryan still gained over a second on him.
Yeah.
Kind of just left looking once again. Emily Howe, minus an interruption now, should inherit the race lead here. John Hagen, pin lap 108. Hagen actually legitimately could have a shot at this.
Yes.
He pin lap 108. He was one of the first ones to pit, and he did get the undercut right. Selena Thompson comes down pit lane. It's Pressy and Ryan Pennell at the front of the field. They have not yet pit. Pressy's the one that has to come in first.
Yep.
He pit on lap 85. Pinel has until lap 90. He pit on lap 91, so he's got 6 extra laps
Hagen.
here. Yeah,
In the
Hagen
wall.
trying too hard there. Just giving up the ghost.
Only advantage is Emily Howe is right behind Lilac Zier right now, but I don't think Lilac Zier is going to make much effort here, allowing the prismatic machine to go on through. Right now, if you're Hagen, you got the tire disadvantage. Yeah, you got the tire disadvantage. You know how eats those up like for breakfast. So you got to just be conservative. You got to be perfect, like you said. No mistakes, no wall taps, no nothing. And you got to be a thorn.
Pressy in. Pinel will inherit the race lead here. And Pinel's not too far ahead of John Hagen.
Mm-hmm.
And now just kind of riding through. There's Hagen.
Yeah, it's about a gap of 10 seconds right now. I think it's going to be about 15 to 10 seconds.
Less than that. Try 5.
Really? Oh, it is. Yeah, timing and scoring. You're correct.
And that gap's coming down significantly as Hagen closes in on Pinel. House closing in on Hagen. And that's a 6-lap difference on tires between Hagen and Emily Howe. We'll
It almost
pull
feels
up
like
the strategy
go
here.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
So you can see when those pit stops were made. Pinel on 27 laps tires. At this point, Hagen, the 6-lap difference, going to be his undoing. The matter is if he can save on to the podium here. He's got to stay in front of Gutta or Ryan. One of the, at least ahead of Ryan here.
Well, yeah, Ryan's about 5 back right now, so Gutta and then Ryan. Right now, though, again, Hagen is trying to get to those lap cars before Howe gets around, because in turn could throw a bit of a pick, a monkey wrench. Well, Presley and the lap cars, I should say. Not Presley, Pinel. But you can just see there's the advantage.
And you see just how much more grip Emily Howe has right now. That 6-lap difference has been monumental. Howe even going below the yellow line. Not many have done that tonight. Howe making it happen. 3 wide for the lead of this race. Emily Howe on the bottom, Hagen in the middle. Ryan Pinel is just going to watch him go by.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Hagen in the wall again.
Yeah, Hagen is just holding on for dear life at this point. Tried so hard to gather that time. But I think he's burned up his stuff just a little bit too quickly here for these last 14 laps.
Yeah, and that's partially why Gutta stayed out as long as they could, because it was a cover off for Ryan. But at the same point, that was the reason, because even if he undercut at the same time as Hagen, he probably would have been a little bit further up the road. But at the same point, Emily Howe probably would have caught them eventually, and in turn passed them for that position. So I get why Gutta stayed out longer, but it's still one of those situations where Gutta was just kind of holding on to the spot.
13 laps to go here at Kentucky. It was a photo finish in HTL. It will not be a photo finish tonight with how things are shaping up. Emily Howe, another dominant performance in this race. Passing a bit more limited with the setup provided tonight by iRacing.
Mm-hmm.
Loaded up that right front and definitely made it more of a struggle. And drivers have to deal with that over these next couple races. It's an E83 set at Sonoma, but then it's an iRacing set at Atlanta. And Atlanta's going to chew those tires up like no other. Ryan Pinel's fallen down to 4th place, but he's still got to make a pit stop here with 11 laps to go. Ryan Pinel staying here in the 4th position. Seen Ryan a little bit further back, having to go through both Selena Thompson and Ryan Pinel. Battle for 2nd place, heating up once again. Hagen in the 52, Gutta in the 86.
And you can see again, advantage of old tires versus new.
Yeah, Gutta's going to go through here, and there's Ruby Acosta, the 40, that white and pink machine for Queens to sign. Looking at the bottom underneath Hagen as well. Fresh tires for Acosta, who's been on lap 120. Some of the freshest tires in the field for that 40 car.
Mm-hmm.
Eight laps to go.
Should be worth noting, Alfred George and Ryan Pill still have not pitted yet.
Yeah. Wonder how close to 40 laps that they could go here. We'll pull up that information here, that pit strategy delta one more time.
They
Looks like the
91.
strongest was 36 laps by Ryan Pinnell.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't look like he can make it, but he's gonna. He's definitely one of the longer stints in this race. Ours George went 37 laps.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's worth trying. It's still a net gain for both drivers. Even if they end up getting put one down, it's still a net gain for where they qualified. So
right now, both still firmly in the top 10 at the moment.
yes.
It is the top 10 on your screen, the way their strategies played out across this race. And what everyone gained and what everyone lost. You see Pressi's lost 5 positions. When Pinnell eventually comes in, he'll get one of those positions back.
Mm-hmm.
But for a front row start, the front row did not have a fun time tonight.
Nope. Alfred George in, so that will be one of the two that have to make their last pit stops left.
Yeah.
And we're waiting on the oddball Ryan Pinnell, unless Ryan Pinnell has an extra fuel tank that we're not aware of.
He's got that extra long that fuel cable inside the car. Get you an extra gallon out of that.
Got one of those hats, like one of those foam hats on that, like you put beer in instead. It's got a little fuel in it.
Yeah.
Leading to the pump. But regardless, Hagan under pressure here. Well, not technically under pressure. That's a lap down machine. But Hagan just trying to hang on. Got a good gap. Christina.
Oh, there's trouble.
Oh!
Wow. Height and Hagan got together.
Hagan not going to be too thrilled about that when he had a comfortable distance.
Not.
He was cruising to a podium, and right now that kind of re-energized Christina Ryan, who's now instead of 5 back, 3 back.
With
At this
5
point,
laps to go, that was rough.
You may want to let McBride go here before part 2 happens.
Yeah, Hagan's falling apart here a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to hang on, get to the end of the round, or the end of the fight here.
Ryan Pinnell comes in. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Got close, but missed it by a couple laps.
Hagan in 3rd. Christina Ryan just back there. That yellow front end in 4th. Just off the podium tonight. 3 laps to go. 5.5 miles left to play. 4.5 miles left to play, excuse me. For Emily Howe. Looking for her 3rd win in 5 races. It has been a dominant performance by the 83 by Prismatic Motorsports, who only had 1 car in this race tonight. Did not matter. Two laps to go.
Mm-hmm. Again, Emily Howe has been on the warpath right now. And when the chase does start, she's definitely going to be a contender for the championship at season's end.
Without a doubt. Coming to the white flag, 1 lap to go for the ABN Pride 200 at Kentucky. Emily Howe has been clinical throughout the season. A win at Indianapolis, a recovery to 4th at Las Vegas, and a win at Fontana 2 weeks ago. Coming out of the 2nd off week, she's going to make it 3 for 5 through 3 and 4 for the final time. Emily Howe's going to make it. A win at Kentucky. She takes the ABN Pride 200. James Gunn will finish in 2nd place, and John Hagan will hold on to 3rd. Christina Ryan will finish 4th ahead of Nick Pressey, while Alfred Denny gets a best finish in ABN 6th place, with Withers finishing in 7th. Emily Howe, 3 career wins now in the ABN Cup Series.
Yeah, no matter how many times you win, it always still feels special. Whether it's your first or your 51st. It's always special, and you see a little tap there. A little respect tap.
A Cali height there. A little bit of a congratulatory thing for John Hagen.
Mm-hmm.
Seen Ryan. See her. She's going to celebrate. She's going to congratulate her mentor. Emily Howell, race winner here at Kentucky.
I mean, what she's doing right now doesn't seem that safe in the real world, but it's the virtual world, so...
Run the Legends lap.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of fun. So much tire still left on that car for her.
Oh!
And there's a little bit of contact. There you go.
Yeah.
For good measure.
Gotta give it a little smack. Make the race-winning diecast look a little bit more, Gotta give them some work, because there's not a scratch on that car. Just gotta give them a little scratch. You know, thinking after doing 134 laps, first thing I wouldn't be doing after I won a race would be doing more laps. But that's a racing breed right there. By the way, if you are still with us, do not go anywhere. We'll try to get the top 3 in here for interviews. Hopefully be able to hear from Emily Howe, James Gutta, and John Hagen, if we can. But Emily Howe just taking her time around the Legends circuit here, having some fun. It's kind of rhythmic in a way, just watching it.
Right.
Like a lava lamp. Now she'll cut it through the grass. And right into a pit box. Perfect.
Running it down here. We'll talk to our top 5 here. We'll start with Nick Pressey. He finished 5th tonight. A good result for him. Nick, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How are you doing this evening?
Doing just fine. Obviously a good result for you tonight. 5th place here at Kentucky Speedway this evening. Kind of walk through your race. Obviously a front row start. A lot of optimism here and still pulling together a top 5 finish tonight at a track that was very difficult to pass at tonight.
The restarts were frustrating. That's to say for sure. I kept losing so many spots on restarts. And, you know, when you're getting boxed in, somehow both on the outside and the inside, not much that can be done there. Once the restart was over, things felt pretty good though, and I was able to make up the positions I could. Coming to the end of the race, after all those cautions, which really messed with the strategy, I said overcut or bust, and it looked like it was bust. So, the strat there was to, I guess, secure 5th by just having a short 4-tire stop and covering as much ground as I could on Denny. I had to cover, I think, 11 seconds or something. All in all, it's a great race. People weren't fond about the setup. I don't think it was bad. I thought it was fun in spite of the spacing and the understeer. I guess that's just what I'm more comfortable with. Other than that, everyone who's still here at the end, I think, raced for the most part very well with each other. There were some nice moments. Congrats to Hal for taking this week's win. I don't know what I'm missing, man. Sorry, Miss Carmen. I don't know what I'm missing. I gotta figure it out going into next week's race, because I very much enjoy racing with these guys, and these guys and gals and everyone. It's just I know I'm close to where I need to be to get wins. I'm just missing something. But you're putting on a great series for everyone, and it's a lot of fun to be here.
Well, tonight you did a phenomenal job. A top 5 finish for you here in the series. Kind of rounds out. You had a top 5 at Indianapolis as well. So getting back into the top 5 ways here at Kentucky with Sonoma coming up next week. Nick, obviously a lot of practice going to go into the first road course race of the season. But before we kind of let you go and let you get ready for that race coming up, and obviously tomorrow night's Champ Car race here at Kentucky, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on a top 5.
You, Carmen, and Kevin, you guys put on a wonderful show tonight. Competitors were all just fine. I had SK running some numbers through my head throughout this race, even if it seemed it was at his own to his own detriment at times. So he was a help. I have a friend flew in from Colorado this week. If she watches the race, that'd be cool. All my other friends who watch the race, like Andrew and Abdul. I thank Bryce for showing up this week. I know he had a bit of a rough go at it, getting grips with the setup tonight and the track. But it was he stuck it out through the end, and I'm grateful for that.
Well, Nick, again, top 5 finish here tonight with a lot of fun tracks coming up here. Bristol, Atlanta, Sonoma, all coming up here. Obviously, a really fun set of tracks coming up. So enjoy the top 5 finish. Glad to see you back in the top 5, and hope we get to see it again next weekend.
Thank you very much, Carmen.
That was Nick Pressey, the 5th place finisher in tonight's event. We'll move forward to Christina Ryan, 4th place finisher on the night. Just a little bit off of another podium finisher in the ABN Amex Cup Series. We'll gather her thoughts on this race. Christina, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Alrighty, a very interesting race. Almost made it back-to-back podiums from Fontana to the night. We'll walk through your race and everything that went down tonight. Obviously, a little bit more challenging of a race than what it was when you raced at Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was fine, I guess. There really wasn't a whole lot you could do out there today. You know, once the first couple laps were over, it was pretty much single file. You couldn't really race anybody. We had a lot fresher tires on some guys and girls, couldn't get around them, and there were people that had a lot fresher tires than us when everything was cycling around, and just nobody could make any moves out there. So we had a good run. I burned my stuff up at the very end trying to chase Hagen. I don't know. Props to him. I don't know how the hell he kept that thing out there as long as he did, and with as much damage as it had or didn't have or whatever. He was bouncing off the wall a few times, but wasn't meant to be. But top 5 solid, good for the points, you know. Especially for no practice. I didn't know if I was going to make this race or not, and qualified pretty poopy. So there's that. All around, not a bad day. Not a bad day for the prismatic the Priz and Stepping Stone connection here in Charlotte. So a couple top 5s, not too bad.
Absolutely. 3rd place in points here tonight with Bristol next week, and obviously a lot of racing in between for you, Christina. Obviously, what you looking forward to the most over these next couple weeks?
As soon as we get off these fixed sets, honestly. I think the racing kind of spoke for itself tonight. There wasn't really much going on the track, and that was pretty much down to the set. It was just way too tight, and you're having all that momentum in the corner. Nobody can really build up a run because everybody's just running the same speed. So Not to mention the tire wear. We had people smacking the wall out of 2 and 4, like it was de-open or defects. So yeah, I don't know. Next time we're off a fixed set, so I'm looking forward to. But
well, that's Bristol next week, so
yeah,
we have a little bit of play here.
First time in my life, I'm looking forward to Bristol. No, I mean, it was still fine. We had a good race. Still got to work on the green flag pit stops. I really don't know where I'm losing the time. I'm coming in as hard as I feel like I can and pushing as hard as I can on exit. I'm just losing oodles and oodles of time, and I think that cost us 3rd place today. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I can't complain with the top 5, but yeah.
Well, it's a good effort tonight. 3rd place in points here in the ABN MBUX Cup Series after 5 races. Not a bad place to be for someone who had to drop out at Daytona early to go and do jumpy trucks. So a good recovery so far this season with still 7 races left in the regular season. Christina, before we let you go and let you kind of relax and again, enjoy Charlotte now that you've moved down that way, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on it.
Yeah, shout out to my housemate Emily, who's sitting in victory lane tonight. It's been anytime somebody sits down in that rig, it's pretty, it's scary. So she did a great job. She's been getting a lot of flack from some people about some things, and I think she shut everybody up tonight. So good for her, and proud of her and Priz and everybody over there. So saw a bunch of people in chat rooting for me as well. So thank you, everyone. I love it. Hope I made you proud tonight. Yeah, I don't know. Good solid run. Shout out Pennzoil. Shout out Init Esports. They're doing the Screen to Speed documentary here this weekend, so be sure to check that out. And other than that, thanks to you two for broadcasting, and yeah.
Well, Christina, 4th place finish tonight. A good run here at Kentucky Speedway. Obviously, I hope to get to race against you tomorrow night in Champ Car here. But if not, I hope to see you next week at Bristol.
Thanks, love.
That was Christina Ryan, 4th place finish here tonight. Emily Howell getting that car moved around just a little bit here at the start-finish line. We'll hear from 3rd place finisher John Hagan on his run tonight as he tried to fight for that race win. Got some laps led in the process and a podium for the first time. John, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Alrighty, finally on the podium here. It took a little bit, but you got there, top 6 in the points. But it's a podium here once again. First time since Daytona, you've had a podium here. Kind of walked through your race. You had a lot of potential there in that 52 car.
I flew into the States yesterday. I got the sim plugged in literally 5 minutes before the race. It crashed while we were gridding. I got it rebooted up, missed the start, drove my butt off, and we finished P3. That's how the race went. Oh, if y'all want to look at something crazy, watch my lap. 129 coming to 130. That it should be save of the year candidate. Everything that could have gone wrong almost went wrong, but at the end it was a great race.
Obviously a really good drive. Obviously you're kind of working here kind of on your own a little bit, working for Jacob Schenkel Racing. But that's not stopped you. You've got a 3rd, a 9th, a 3rd. Again, top 6 in the points right now. A phenomenal result for someone really new to ABN, kind of stepping in and really kind of showing what you're about here. What was this race for you? Was this something that was sort of in your wheelhouse, or was this something you really had to adapt to tonight?
A little bit of both. I'm really familiar with this track and the B and C class cars, and I knew how you needed to drive it, but I hadn't put the hands-on wheel to this track at all. So I was learning on the fly, especially that first run. And then I didn't know what the tires or how to drive it to save the tires at all till that, I think, the first stint on fuel of the final green flag run. And I learned what I needed to learn, but by then I had gotten a gap to P2 and P1, and I was pulling tire strategies, trying to short pit, trying to catch a caution at the right time. But honestly, overall, it was awesome.
Obviously, you did a phenomenal job tonight, and obviously Bristol coming up next week to end up the month of May. It's the first really big short oval race this season. A lot of challenging tracks coming up here with Bristol, with Atlanta, with Sonoma coming up. How do you really prepare for that and get ready for that race, knowing that it is going to be a little bit more tough than what tonight was?
I love Bristol. I love short tracks. So Bristol, Atlanta, I'm looking forward to them. I'm definitely going to have to put some laps down for Sonoma. But, I mean, you don't know what you're going to get into till you're in the race, and you can prepare the best by doing some practice, but in the end, it's up to the hands of fate. So we'll do what we can.
Well, you did a really good job tonight here, battling up, finishing in third place tonight, holding off the challenge enough to hold on to your second podium of the season here. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to while we're here, the floor is yours. Congratulations on it. Phenomenal result with a lot of racing still left to come.
I want to thank Jacob Shangle for JSR Racing. I wanted to thank U.S. Army for sending me home. Praise. And thank my beautiful girlfriend for having me here and keeping me nice and fed while I race.
Well, John, again, congratulations. Third place here tonight here in Kentucky. Bristol next week. We hope to see you then. Glad you're home safe, and enjoy the podium tonight and celebrate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was John Hagan, our third place finisher tonight. Now we're down to two. We're talking to all the top 5 drivers tonight. We'll talk to Jim Gutta next. Second place finisher here this evening. As we get ready to go here in Kentucky. Jim, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All righty. What a way to step forward from 8th to 6th to 6th to 4th to second place tonight here at Kentucky. First podium of the season and a well-fought race tonight. Kind of walk through the perspective on your end going through tonight's event and sort of just how it all unfolded for you and if you could have done anything for Emily tonight.
For Emily, no, I did not have a thing for her. She's very, very fast. But I'll tell you what, second place for my first lap on this track in this car, this setup, this configuration was qualifying. So to walk away with the P2, I'm more than happy with that.
Obviously, a really good night for you here for the 86 team as everything sort of just unfolds here as we get closer and closer to the midway point of the season. Just walking through just how this season's been for you. You're second place in points. The consistency is shown for a driver who didn't make the duels for Daytona. Started at the back of the field for Daytona and kind of just clawed your way forward. It's been top 10s, top 5s every race of the season so far. That consistency has been paramount for your success so far this season. Kind of walk through. Obviously, you said the first time you went through this configuration, really the first time in qualifying. The experience you had, obviously you talked about the Court Cup Series and everything that Court's done throughout the years. How much has that sort of helped you and made just muscle memory for races like tonight where you don't have that experience going forward?
Oh, for sure. And it was, it definitely helps. And so like speaking of Court, we when we ran here, it was the Xfinity cars and it was pretty much the same thing. It was just like a 1-lane racetrack where like, yeah, you got to hit like the same line in 3 and 4. If you miss it, you lose time. Like you could run different lines for like a little bit, but like for the most part, it's like this track is like very high concentration where you gotta make sure that you manage your tires, hit that same line pretty much every time. And as long as you take care of yourself, you'll end up with a pretty good spot.
And that's exactly what you did tonight. Management was the name of the game. Laps led, a really good challenge there, and a pretty clear podium finish tonight. Second place here at Kentucky. Bristol next week. Is that a track you're looking forward to? Is that a track you've learned to just tolerate? Obviously, it's a bit of a polarizing track, with it being the monster that it usually is in these cars.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Bristol. Like the older configuration before it changed to the high side, that was nice. I'm like okay at the high side one, but either I end up getting wrecked or, I mean, it's Bristol. I'm in a good spot in the points where I think I can afford even a last place finish at Bristol next week and be okay. So, we'll just get it done and over with.
Well, the mentality, regardless, has always been phenomenal. Top 5s, top 10s, every race of the season. You have 100% top 10 ratio in ABN. One of the very few drivers that have done that so far in ABN of 230 drivers. So congratulations on that little stat piece. Second place here. Obviously didn't get to have your teammate Selena Ward here tonight. But a phenomenal effort for JGS Motorsports. Before we let you go and let you celebrate your top 2 and get ready for Bristol next week, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. A well-earned podium finish tonight, P2 here at Kentucky.
Yeah, Selena, we'll say hi to her again. We'll say hi to Steve. Jeff Gross was there helping me out. It's always fun racing with Christina. I feel like this was the first race where her and I actually got some like racing in, because either like she's been just way too in front of me otherwise. But yeah, other than that, anyone else?
Well, James, obviously fantastic race tonight. Second place finish. Always fun seeing you on track. Just absolute ball. Seeing you just be able to race, seeing you put elbows out here. A phenomenal race tonight. Enjoy the podium, celebrate it, and obviously we'll be seeing you next week at Bristol. Enjoy it.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
That was James Gutta, second place finisher here tonight. With one more interview to go, we're saving the best for last. We're saving Emily Howe, the race winner tonight for the third time this season, extending the championship lead by a paramount margin. Emily, this is Carmen from the ABM booth. You got a copy.
Hello.
What a drive. Phenomenal performance here tonight at Kentucky. Obviously, tire saving was the name of the game, and you showed exactly why you are so good at these races, coming right off of the heels of a Winstall win, your first win in that series, to get your third here in ABN. Kind of just walk through your race and obviously how important tire saving was throughout this race once we got through those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the whole time it was just a game of save the right front, because the car just really didn't want to take a set and turn. So it was really hard to pass too. So, when I saw that John had like 7 lap fresher tires in that second run when we didn't pit and he couldn't get around me, I knew that was going to be the name of the game. So strategy from then on out was just pit 1 lap or 2 laps later than Gutta did on the green flag stops. I knew that there wouldn't really be any chance for him to get back around me or, be able to have better tires. So
obviously, you talk about the name of the game, different setups tonight. And you go in phenomenal fashion, lead the most laps, which you haven't done very often this season. Lead the most laps, absolutely dominant performance, largest margin of victory so far this season. Absolutely crazy performance here tonight. How much does that kind of just speak volumes, but just about how much experience you have in this car and how much muscle memory it is for you at these 1.5 mile tracks? Where, even in bad situations like Las Vegas 3 weeks ago, you went from the back of the field to 4th place in 5 laps. How important is that, just that memory and that knowledge of the car been to get you to where you are right now? Because you have a phenomenal points lead at this point. Obviously, right of the season, the chase will reset, all that stuff. But it's 220 points right now between you and everyone else. How important has that memory and just that knowledge of the car been to establishing that level of consistency that no one's been able to match so far?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a car that I race, every single week. And it's pretty much the only oval car I drive at this point. So, at this point, regardless of what sets on the car or anything like that, I know there was a doubt about whether I had an advantage or not with it being set aside with built in the past, but I think we've proven tonight that was not the case. It's just that, I have, not to flex or anything, not to say that's important, but I have the highest rating in this field typically most weeks, and I race in a series that's 4 to 5 KSOF every week. So it's just, at this point, I understand this car and this tire and how it needs to be handled to make speed out of it and also save tires. So just been a fun season. Obviously the goal going forward is just to do what we've done and just try to win every single race and just do our best to execute and put the race together every week.
Obviously, a phenomenal race result tonight. 3rd win on the season. And as I mentioned before, a 220-point gap between you and the rest of the field. You're already over 1,000 points in the season so far. Kind of just speaks volumes to just how well you performed so far these first opening 5 races. Bristol coming up, though, really a challenging set of tracks. Bristol, Atlanta, Sonoma all coming up. how do you feel going to Bristol, knowing, the races have started off pretty rough these last 5 races? Do you expect anything different from Bristol? And if so, how do you prepare for a race like that, knowing that it's kind of going to be up in the air at the opening stint?
Oh, Bristol is just a track where, with the points that I have now going into it, I can, have a lot more fun and not have to really worry about finishing, or not necessarily not finishing, but just having to be careful, as a lot of the people will be who, don't have the points going into it. So, as long as we qualify up front and, try to stay out of trouble, we should be okay. I assume it'll be a race of attrition. I doubt we have very many cars finishing Bristol, so just try to stay out of trouble and, watch for back markers, just keep the nose clean.
Obviously, that's going to be the name of the game. That's next week. But tonight, you're a race winner for the 3rd time in the ABN M Box Cup Series. Before we let you go and let you celebrate with Prismatic Motorsports, your team here tonight, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, Emily, the floor is yours. Congratulations on a very emphatic victory here tonight in the Bluegrass State.
Thank you. Obviously, want to shout out the team Prismatic Motorsports. Everyone who wants to put on these events, ABN, Admin Box, go for the Gap code, Kadon Computers. All our sponsors, ABN, we got Agent Inc., certifiably diverse, Motiony, and all the other partners we have that help us put this all together.
Emily, 3 race wins in 5 races. The points leads over 200 points with a lot of races still left to play. It's been a lot of fun seeing and having these drivers learn, obviously trying to really kind of measure up to you in this series so far. It's been phenomenal. Enjoy the race win for the 3rd time this season, and obviously we'll be seeing you next week at Bristol. Enjoy it.
Thank you. See you there.
That was Emily Howell, race winner tonight here at Kentucky Speedway. The full race order is on your screen now. Emily Howell, James Gutta, John Hagan, the podium finishers tonight. Emily Howell, 3rd career win in ABN, all in the Admin Box Cup Series. James got a first podium in ABN. He gets 2nd place tonight by a 5-second margin. John Hagan for Jacob Shingle Racing, another podium, another 3rd place, equal to his result at Daytona back in May. Nick Pressey in 5th behind Christina Ryan. Alfred Denny, one of his better results in ABN competition. 6th place for him tonight, with Tommy Withers finishing the last car on the lead lap in 7th. A lot of good performances there throughout the top 7. Bryce Saucier, nothing to slouch at either. Did not have a good time at Kentucky last time ABN was here back in July last year. 11 months later, a top 10 finish. A little bit better for him with tomorrow on the horizon, the big one that the 07's looking forward to. Zach McBride, likewise, had a good race at Kentucky last year. Looking to have a little bit better of a run tomorrow night than what he had tonight, but a top 10 finish for him is still a very solid result for the Stepping Stone Motorsports team. Selena Thompson rounds out with the top 10 ahead of Ryan Pinnell, whose late pit stop threw away his chance to really fight back for that top 10 spot. Blake Henderson finished in 12th position off the lead lap, with Callie Height finishing 2 laps down in 13th. Irish George in 14th, Lilac Zier rounding up the field, top 15 in the field, I should say. Rebe Acosta 3 laps down, went down laps early after contact there between Pelletier, Sharp, and Height, and never really fully recovered those laps, finishing in 16th place tonight. Stephen Downton and Toby Estes finished 17th and 18th. Downton did take the checkered flag. Toby Estes, the first of the retirements in this race. Scrolling down the rest of the order, Briley Wright, Lily Pelletier, Sharp, as we mentioned, involved in a couple incidents tonight. Kevin Feemster, Josh Gaiman, Rudy Valentine from pole position to last place. 23rd for him. Not the result he wanted in this race, but it's what he ended up getting. A lot of action still to come. Tomorrow night, it's the ABN Champ Car World Series, the 2nd leg of the Triple Crown, right here at Kentucky Speedway. Me and Kevin Young will be racing here. We hope to see a lot of the drivers tonight racing tomorrow night as well for 300 miles, 200 laps at Kentucky Speedway. Friday night, Twiggy, the Twiggy iRacing Series, also here at Kentucky, the Bluegrass 220 here on Friday. Then OAP Super Sport Series on Saturday, and the A Squared Cup Series for ARCS on Sunday. The next 5 days in review, all of that's coming up here on ABN Pride Week. We appreciate you spending your Wednesday evening with us here on ABN. On behalf of everyone here, all of our partners, Agent Inc., Admin Box, E83 Flying Machines, ARCS, HTL, Twiggy, and everyone here at ABN Studios, Mega Commentator Kevin Young, I'm Carmen Sienna. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, try to have some fun this week if we don't see you at some point. But for those that we will see you tomorrow night, right back here at Kentucky Speedway. Until then, so long, everybody.